Okay, thank you. Good evening and welcome to the meeting of the Pioneer Valley Regional School District School Committee. Today is Thursday, May 18th, 2023. This meeting is taking place in the library of the Pioneer Valley Regional School. It is 7:04 p.m. And I will call the meeting to order. We have one member who is remote, so we'll need to do a roll call attendance.
Melissa Gary, present.
Michelle Geruso here.
Karen O'Neill here.
Gretchen Kelton here.
Nathan Swartz here.
Raina Dastu here. Stephen?
David Young here.
David Young.
Can anybody operate those?
Stephen's still there?
I got you.
Oh, I think we lost Stephen. Oh, no, there he is.
Have they been fixed?
And
Yeah, I think
Stephen
I
just
remember
joined
it broken.
again. All right, great, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just adjusting the,
Or sit on this side.
I want my microphone.
No, David.
I've got a microphone this time.
yeah. All right.
Oh, you're really right in the middle of
I
it.
got sunglasses in the car.
You could probably come over here if you wanted.
Yeah, there's room. That's all right.
He's got a visor.
All right, so we have the minutes of May 11th.
I move we accept them.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. And any corrections, discussion?
Started reading.
All right, so we'll start the vote. David?
David Young, yes.
Melissa Gary, yes.
Michelle Geruso, yes.
Karen O'Neill, yes.
Gretchen Kelton, yes.
Nathan Swartz, yes.
Stephen?
Yes, please. Yes.
And Raina Dastu, yes. So those pass unanimously. Moving on to reports. We have an update on the summer retreat. Michelle, do you want to?
Yes, whoops. Tracy Novak replied to me that she is available Saturday, July 22nd, for us for a retreat. I did give her a little background that we're looking on help with goal planning, measurable and obtainable. I told her some of the things, that were going on. Warwick is leaving. The committee's going to be 9 committee members. I said maybe she could help us look at our subcommittees and how many meetings we have to do. And I told her, we are going to be attending a lot of meetings for 9 people. We also talked about team building ideas, and she said it would be worth talking further, myself and Raina and Patricia. So I think what we need to know is how many people will be able to attend a Saturday morning in July. I think we need to start there since there's only going to be 9 of us to start with. Oh, 8. You're right. So I'm available.
I'm available. I have it. So does that mean the 15th we don't need to hold anymore?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm going to take that off.
All right.
9 o'clock, she can be here. Yes, right. Did I say that? Okay.
Okay.
And we can decide how long we want to go. If we want to do 4 hours or whatever.
Okay, great. So we'll plan on July 22nd for a retreat and more to come. So that's good.
And for planning purposes, there's only 7 currently. That would be.
Jennifer.
We have 2 in Leiden and 2 in Northfield.
Oh, right. So North.
We still have a vacancy in
Vacancy in
Northfield.
Northfield.
And
No,
vacancy.
right. So for planning purposes, there's not 8, there's 7.
Can you get one by July? Oh, you're not from
I'm not from, I don't know.
We'll
Melissa, get to work on
We'll
that.
try.
Yeah, try and find someone.
I've got
Good
2.
orientation.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we'll.
Yes, and they've all said no.
All right. We'll work on that. It's also part of our homework. So great. Superintendent report.
I would like to give you a brief update or an answer to a question raised last week, and then introduce our guest, Kate Mesmer, new Director of Teaching and Learning. Last week, when the committee accepted a donation of $300 for the Northfield Elementary Library, somebody asked how the gift,
How they select the
how they select the books. The librarian sets up a wish list every year with Follett. Students and staff throughout the year request books, and the librarian then orders them.
Okay, great. Thanks for looking into that.
Welcome. Now, much more fun. And Kate Mesmer, come on up to the table, please. And Kate is a singer-songwriter who spent 5 years in Nashville. So she knows about microphones.
No, I'm actually really impressed with the sound. Thank you.
Tyler, huh? From someone who knows.
To get it right when, it's definitely hard to get it right. So I'm appreciative of that. And, for a musician, it's tough because I actually wear 2 hearing aids now, which is disappointing. Can I say that? But it is extraordinary what they can do with digital technology, right? So it's a very different experience for me than it was for my dad, right? Very, very different. So I hear really well, but yes, I have great appreciation for sound. See, listen to that. Thank you. I was going to say, should I just break into song? That would be fun. That would be fun.
For it.
Yeah.
I actually did do that once at a union meeting to get the attention of the union at the time.
You got the union at the table.
Oh, hello, union.
Well,
I was
Kate,
the
yes, sorry.
president of the union, so I just started singing Amazing Grace one day when we were having a very large and complex meeting. So I was trying to get everybody's attention.
Well, Kate, we're delighted that you are our new Director of Teaching and Learning. This is a new position for the district. As you know, it's an expansion of the prior Curriculum Coordinator Grants Manager role. Kate comes to us with many, many years of experience as a teacher, curriculum coordinator, and director. So with that, Kate, tell us a little bit about your background and why you're excited to be here, and the committee may want to ask some questions and just have some conversation.
That seems fair. I've always been a teacher. My younger sister will be happy to tell you that. I think probably a little to her chagrin, but I just always have. Both of my parents started their careers out as teachers. My mom was an English teacher and my father was a chemistry teacher, but he ultimately ended up being a chemical engineer. So I feel like that just came to me, and then there's a whole bunch of teachers floating around kind of on both sides of the family. So I always felt it was and I still do. I was actually talking to a former student today who's now a teacher at Hampshire Regional, where I've worked for the last 20 years, and he came in and we were talking about, he and his brother are both teachers, and his parents were teachers, so it seems to be something genetic floating around. And we were just talking about how sometimes compared to our siblings and friends, we actually love our jobs. Right? Especially, my sisters, one is in medicine and the other is in television, and they both struggle with their jobs. And when I tell them that I love my job, they're always, we're happy for you. And I know that I don't, I know that I don't make as much money as they do. I know I don't, but that doesn't matter. I'm remarkably happier, and I've met wonderful people. I've, taught at this point at Hampshire more than 2,000 graduates from that school, and throughout my career I've just managed to find my way various places. And I started teaching at the elementary school that I went to, and at a Catholic school. So at that point I'd had an English certification in Pennsylvania, but the principal at the elementary school asked me if I could teach music, and obviously that seemed a good fit. And then she said, and I need an English teacher in middle school. I said, great. And then she said, and I need a math teacher, 4 through 8. And I said, sister, I'm not learned how to teach math. And she said, if I remember correctly, you passed 8th grade math. And you know what? The oddest thing about that story is I loved teaching math. I really did. And I taught math for 5 years, and maybe that's my dad's contribution to that part of it, because he ended up with a PhD in applied mathematics. And so it was probably that combination of things. So I really did love teaching math. But then I ended up going to grad school and teaching freshmen at Duquesne University, teaching freshman English for a few years. Finishing that degree, heading off to UMass, actually, which is what brought me to this area of the world, which I think is true for a lot of people, and was a doctoral candidate there and taught freshman writing for them for a little while. But then I got a really interesting phone call one day from Sony Music in Nashville, Tennessee, where they asked me, they said they had heard a song that I had written actually for a fundraiser that was done in Pittsburgh, where I'm from, for the Children's Hospital campaign. And they heard the song and they said, we'd like you to come down and talk to us. And so I went down to talk to them, and really quickly I ended up being a staff writer for Sony Music in Nashville, which, and I have said this before many times, which sounds way cooler than it is, okay? It was absolutely revelatory, right? That kind of work and meeting amazing people and having a wonderful time. But you need a day job when you do that. So I worked for Vanderbilt University's Child Development Center. And again, had no idea this was going to happen, but any of the teachers in the room, you've probably seen the ADHD scale that came out of, I was part of that, which was fun. And I was part of a study that worked with trying to diagnose autism in children under 3 with Wendy Stone, who went on to do even greater things. So I've kind of landed in all these places and did a lot of data work for them and some editorial work for them. So it was a really fun period of time where I just did a lot of different things. And then on the weekends, I sang songs and traveled around and met people. And then eventually came back here to the Valley and have been back in the Valley for more than 20 years now, and worked for National Evaluation Systems for a little while, the teacher testing people. And that was intriguing. And then I ended up deciding I really wanted to go back to teaching. So I taught at Turner's Falls High School for 3 years, and then was riffed from that position and landed at Hampshire Regional in 2003, and I've been there ever since. Oh, I skipped a part. I taught for 15 years, and then in 2017 became their director of curriculum instruction and assessment. Teaching and learning is way better, just saying. I like that. It just is nice gerunds, you know, I just like that. The CIA director just doesn't work, right, in some ways. So that's what brings me here is basically the really exciting opportunity to do new things. I was just looking really quickly at your course listing in there, and I thought, there are things I want to take in there. That would be really fun, or at least to sit in on, right? I thought, that's exciting to be able to do that kind of work in high school is really, really appealing to me. And I know that there are some curricular challenges that you have ahead of you. And it's taken me 5 years, but I finally managed to align mathematics at Hampshire Regional for the first time in 60 years. So that was exciting. And I did a lot of grant work for Hampshire. And doing a little less of that is also appealing to me. I'm good at it. I am. I'm good at writing grants, but it's less, it doesn't really speak to a lot of the strengths that I have. I mean, obviously it speaks to the writing skills that I have, and it speaks to my knowledge around teaching and learning, but it doesn't allow me to actually do that work. And it takes a significant amount of time to write grants. So I'd say my job, although it's supposed to be kind of 60-40 curriculum grants, it's really the opposite. I spend most of my time, especially in the COVID years, right? We went from managing less than $1 million in grants to managing more than $4 or $5 million in grants. And it takes time to get that right and to follow all the laws and to meet people's needs. And so I'm thrilled that the focus here is Director of Teaching and Learning.
Well, we're thrilled that you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like I just did
Committee,
the
I don't know if
cliff
you have any
notes of my life.
questions, or?
Anyway,
No, thank you for that. That was,
so, I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
no, sorry, thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I came in late, but I love what you had to say.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Kate?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Great choice.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Kate. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be, what a beautiful day, huh?
There you go.
So when do you start?
July 5th.
Yeah.
Yes. And Patricia, I'm happy to tell you that I managed to get a little more time in between. So
Perfect.
that's
Nice.
Yeah, I've
Managed.
talked with people. We want people to come in rested and some break before they start the hard work here, so.
and I-
Kate, thank you
Pulled
so
that
much.
off.
And
You're
I know
welcome.
you are dying to stay for the rest of the meeting, but you don't need to. You should really go home.
I like a superintendent with a sense of humor. No, I mean, actually, school committee meetings, I mean, the work that you have all had to do for the last 3-4 years is just mind-boggling, right? And extraordinary and really important. But I'm hopeful going forward that you will not see as much of each other as you have, because things will settle down with COVID, is I'm hoping. Can we all hope for that? Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good goal.
I don't think it's in the stars with committee going to 9 members. Quite a grind.
Thanks.
Just throwing a little bit of reality out there.
Yeah, no, I'm really going to be hopeful, because that was, I think we could agree that it was a little shocking when it happened, and it was just a lot.
Yeah, from my perspective, I think as more stable systems are put in place, it makes the work easier and more coordinated for everyone. So there is a settling down in a commonality of how we're operating. So I see some wonderful things happening when those systems get implemented.
Excellent. Yes, and you only have one school committee,
Yeah.
so that's exciting too.
All
Very
right.
good. So no, thank you all for
Thanks.
listening, and I'm happy to answer your questions at any time. And Patricia, I'm hopeful that I'm going to come here next week and take care of the paperwork. That's what I'm
Perfect. Great.
planning. So I'll call Suzanne and take care of that.
That sounds good.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Kate.
you very much. Have a
Thank you.
lovely evening.
Thanks, yep.
Welcome.
Welcome.
All right. So moving on to our business. Director of Student Services, that is not, we're removing that from the agenda for tonight. We're not ready for that. A gift to the schools, AGH disposal.
In your packets, you have a brief memo from Jordan. Do you remember you approved disposal of the surplus track equipment out back? So I just found out, I got a little more information. Gretchen Licata, Director of Facilities, was out talking with some local companies about, getting a contract together to remove of the items, and AGH offered to donate their services to
Great.
dispose of the items.
Fantastic.
And I'm sure once they're disposed, that we're no longer liable for anything. Some of it is sports equipment that, if it were used, we had a discussion before, but like
Yes.
once they're disposing of it, it's disposed.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'd like to move to accept the donation of the in-kind service voted of $300 from AGH Disposal and Recycling LLC to dispose of surplus athletic equipment.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Being none, you want to start the voting?
David Young, yes.
Melissa Gary, yes.
Michelle Druso, yes.
Karen O'Neill, yes.
Gretchen Kelton, yes.
Nathan Swartz, yes?
Alan Genovese, yes.
Steve? Stephen Martin, yes. And Raina Dastu, yes. So that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to PVRS courses and program of studies.
Curriculum and personnel met last night. Nathan, do you want to introduce the, there's not a vote needed, but do you want to introduce the memo about the courses, or shall I?
No, you can. I would like to speak a little bit, we're kind of past the report section, but there were things in that meeting that
Yes.
should be brought up.
Okay.
But no, you're the best person to
Okay, thank you.
introduce that. Yep, thank you.
So briefly, as you have in the memo, when we took a look at the updated policy manual, it turns out, under the curriculum adoption policy, that I have the authority as superintendent to approve new programs and courses of study if they do not represent an extensive alteration to content or instructional approach. And while these are wonderful creative courses, none of them is, they're not so far afield that I believe committee approval is required. So I want to put into the record the names of our wonderful faculty who this year have requested approval, which I granted to these new courses. We have Rachel Dowd, our librarian, who will be teaching a half-year course on research skills and media literacy. How important? How important for our students to develop even stronger skills at discerning what is true and what is not in the online world. Emma Harnish and David Boucher will be co-teaching a really nifty-looking course on design and engineering. It provides greater variety for our students, entirely project-based. You can see the projects listed in the course description. Emily Miner, Grinspoon winner, will teach a half-year course on journalism and mass media, and there is talk of, gosh, maybe we get a literary magazine going again.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Athletic coaching. Peter King, our phys ed teacher, has taken this course. He's got former professors who are advising him on how he might adapt a college-level course for students in high school. There's a lot of interest in this. Electronic music production, I was just thinking of Kate, because this is, they go into the history of recorded sound, different sound recording technologies, mixing, mastering, and they will learn how to set up for live performances. So I would imagine that Tyler, look at the smile, right? I love this. I love that our kids will learn how to make digital music, edit digital music, and set up for live performance and record live performance. Right? Woodshop, right? We've talked so much about that. Getting that back up and running. Personal finance, you've heard about this. Kids love the class, and now they can take it as a math elective. We're giving more choice, something real, a year-long class. I wish I had learned some of this when I was a young person. My little high school certainly didn't offer that, and Kathy's super excited. She's using a good curriculum from a national organization dedicated to helping young people learn how to manage their finances, so she doesn't have to invent it. And the online curriculum has very clear links to the standards of mathematical practice in the curriculum framework, so yay. And then Matt Colleen, Perception and Reality. I don't know if you got a chance to read that course proposal.
Yeah.
Deep, deep. And this is not a brand new course. He's taking a moment to say, this course has been changing over time, now we need to rename it so that we acknowledge what is really the at the core of this, at the heart of this course. So, just so happy for our kids that they will have these opportunities. Quickly, I'm going to mention, because we brought up in curriculum and personnel, one idea that had come up, a few ideas came up. What about a semester-long class for seniors in first semester that would be college applications and scholarship applications? Remove the burden from families and help kids, especially those for whom there may not be someone in their family who's gone to college before. Didn't make it happen, but Lucas Correa, our guidance counselor, our school counselor, has already put the word out to kids that they could do that as an independent study, and there is interest among some of our seniors. So you had asked me to make sure that the word is out, kids know about this, and I'm thrilled that it just seems to make sense.
Yeah.
Why have kids struggle when they could every day methodically get through the process with help, right? So happy to entertain any questions or comments.
Just a comment. So I had concerns about the time on learning and how we were going to approach that. And so I am just really excited about the staff stepping forward and expanding learning opportunities for students. And I really applaud the fact that they are doing this, but maybe more importantly, they're doing this in something they're passionate about, and that is going to come through in their instruction. So this is a win-win. They're going to enjoy what they're doing, and the kids are going to have a tremendous benefit from it.
Yeah, thank you, Ellen. Okay, great, thank you.
Great, yeah. And then do we?
Program, there's no vote on that. The
Okay.
program of studies one, there, it will be a vote.
Okay,
So that's a
Alright.
separate, okay.
all right.
Nathan, you want me to do this one, or do you want to, the program of
What is that?
studies? The program of studies, there was going to be a vote needed.
Credit.
Yeah. Again, you're more familiar
Okay,
with that.
all right.
Speak to it, but you've been embedded in it.
Thank you. So, our program of studies is a core document of the district. It is the central repository of information about the courses offered at the high school. And it is the place, in addition to the student handbook, where the requirements for graduation are listed. It's a key document. Maybe it hasn't had an update in a number of years, and these documents, someone does a little fixing here, they do a little fixing there. It's time, not right now, it will be time next year, or maybe the year after, for a thorough review. We want the tone to be positive. We want it to have, we want someone reading it without realizing, to get a sense of our values as an educational community. So, all of that said, I have the authority to approve changes to the document that are not substantive, that don't change, for instance, the requirements for credits required for graduation. So we've reformatted the entire document. We had a survey today for kids in grades 8 through 11 to choose the cover art. We put out a number of samples using artwork created by our students. And Kendrick Salis, I hope somebody sends this recording to you, because you won. And Kendrick's artwork will be on next year's program of studies. We've deleted, outdated information. There is one change for which we do need to request approval. Curriculum and personnel heard about it last night, and they unanimously recommended that it come forward to the full committee. And that is relating to the elimination of study halls. Last year, and in years past, students were required to be enrolled in a program equivalent to 6 full-time courses each semester for a total of 15, no, do I have that right?
Yep.
15 credits. How do you get 15 credits from 6 courses? It's 5, okay, yeah. Because 6 times 5 is 30, it was 30 credits for the year, I got that, okay.
Yes. Yep.
Sorry. With the elimination of study hall, unless we were to completely blow up the schedule, figure out something radically different, and that might happen, down the road as we really think about what works best in the current time. The solution for next year is to say all students need to be enrolled in 7 classes. That's how we make up time on learning, given the constraints of the current schedule. Students therefore need to be enrolled in 17.5 credits per semester, or 35 credits for the year. That is the change for which we are requesting approval. We are not suggesting or requesting that we mess about with the credits required for graduation. That's a big conversation, and not fair to spring that on any kids the year before graduation. So happy to entertain questions and comments.
How long is each class? Minutes per day.
So, Claire, am I right? Most classes are 47 minutes, but the block ones are double that? What's that, 94, 93? Yeah. But then on Fridays, currently, there's still 7 blocks, but they're just a few minutes shorter. Yeah.
Okay, so I was wondering about that in terms of the block classes. So, block scheduling and how they're taught is a different approach than teaching for 47 minutes. So I don't have knowledge, so it's just my lack of knowledge that how do the teachers keep this engaging so it's not just 247 or whatever that larger number is? How is their philosophy and how they're teaching adjusting to the longer period? Because it could be different.
Alan, that's what, they have that now, and they will have the exact same thing next year.
No,
There's
but I
no
don't
change.
understand what they have now.
So they do so right now they do, for instance, labs in those block periods. So that
They do labs?
for the science
Oh.
teachers, that's the perfect time for them to do a lab. It's when Nikki can get her kids outside.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, because if it was presenting and engaging students, then there's this ratio that you do, but I didn't realize they were tied to labs.
Not all of them, but go ahead, Claire.
So we all make a different plan. You know, we've been doing it for, we've had this block schedule for 7, 8, maybe even longer. So, you're right, so science, they do labs. Kathy Mulch, cooking, she does her big cooking classes then. Me for a double block, it depends on what we're doing and what unit that I'm teaching. Longer writing pieces take place during the double block. Editing, peer editing takes place during the double block. Any type of quiz, test, double block. Reading, whatever novel that we're in at the time. Project work, we're doing projects right now. The juniors are creating biographies of philanthropists. And so we've been using the double block of time to work on their projects to do that.
I thank you for sharing that, because I think that's important for people to understand how that time is used differently and how you approach that, so I appreciate that. I think that's good information for the public to hear as well.
Thank you.
Great. Any further questions? Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll move to revise the high school program of studies to require that PVRS students in grade 9 through 12 be enrolled in a program equivalent to 7 courses per semester, which equals 17.5 credits, in order to be considered full-time students.
I second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right.
Just
Yeah.
one other question. And so when you look at the scheduling and you look at the additional courses and the opportunities for kids, there won't be an issue with the kids being able to sign up for other courses, so they're all taking 7.
Mathematically,
Yeah,
no, we're okay.
okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Shall we start the voting?
David, yes.
Melissa Gary, yes.
Michelle Geruso, yes.
Karen O'Neill, yes.
Gretchen Kelton, yes.
Nathan Swartz, yes.
Alan Genovese, yes.
Steve? Stephen Martin, yes. Thank you. And Raina Dastu, yes. So that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Superintendent evaluation.
So first, I would like to thank the committee for your patience and apologize that you did not get this until late last night. In February, you approved my goals for a year and a half period, essentially, which was just terrific. Thank you for that. And you asked that I report on my progress in May. So, as you have in your memos, I have not been able to make really much progress at all on the 3 goals. And it is strange to say this, but I can't say that I feel delinquent in any way about it. And it is not hard for me to see how, when the school year is over, we get to work and I start on the goals. They're great work for the summer. So that's what I'm suggesting. There is a second part of the evaluation process that involves looking at my performance against the 4 professional standards. And those are instructional leadership, management and operations, family and community engagement, and professional culture. When we ask teachers to select and share evidence, it's always a good idea to suggest to teachers, pick few pieces of evidence, but pick evidence that can demonstrate your performance against multiple standards, right? So I've seen some administrators want people to put in 6 pieces of evidence for every stand. Like, no, don't do that. Pick good evidence that can paint a really broad portrait of your work. So on the back of that sheet, I picked some pieces of evidence that I felt went across different standards. When I look at this, what I noted putting it together was that the fewest check marks are in the instructional leadership column. And that's both surprising and not. I spent so many years as a teacher and then so many years working in curriculum and teaching and learning. That is my wheelhouse. And as I've said to you on a number of occasions, since coming to this district, my focus has had to be squarely on operations. That's what we have needed here, and so that's where I put my attention. And I'm really excited for next year because with the entry of Kate to the district, with a principal in this building, I can begin to focus more of my attention on the front of the house. So I'm just noting that that's something I observed when I look at the distribution of check marks. Areas in which I feel proud of my work, communication. When I counted the district updates and saw, gosh, there have been 56 of them that have gone out. Hey, we didn't have a newsletter before, and now we do. And they're not fancy, but they let our community know what's going on, and they're a vehicle to seek input, to celebrate things. And now some of our principals are using s'more. Cindy Schultz over at BES, boy, she's knocking it out of the park. There was a video, I don't know how, did you see your grandson in that video?
Of course I did, and I've shared it with everybody I know.
Did you see this video of the fourth graders?
Grader, yeah, how to be a great fourth grader, whatever it was. Amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. They even did bloopers. It was heartwarming and fantastic.
It is
Yeah.
what we want.
Really great advice.
It is what we want.
Yep.
So when I came, I heard that, at times there wasn't, the community wasn't feeling, families weren't feeling like they knew what was going on. And so I think we've taken some great steps in that area. There are some connections here. I think about Forest Lights, helping Cooper get that land stewardship club going and getting the kids out there, getting the families out, and connecting that to the facilities master plan. We're thinking about our resources and how we use them long term, connected to the elementary site plans. The preschoolers over at NES are working with John Lepore to get outside and examine the site and think about what they would want to see on the site. They are drawing maps. So, connections here among everything. The Warwick transition, I'm inordinately proud of the work we did in that school committee led, and I'm glad that I could help, that I could take on the administrative side of it and provide you with the documents that helped good conversations happen. The hiring searches, I think those have been transparent, inclusive. You've heard from different applicants who've said, nice process. And that's what we want people to hear about us, that we do things well and we treat people well. The last one, I don't have a link because it wouldn't be appropriate to share the document, but this one's important to know. Under state law, if a teacher or a faculty member works in a school district for 3 years, the day after they finish the 3rd year, not the first day of the next year, the day after they finish their 3rd year, they automatically have professional teacher status, which grants them important employee protection rights. It behooves the district legally, but also culturally, to view the earning of professional teacher status as a major professional accomplishment, which means we need to be keeping an eye on our new teachers, new to us. And so I've instituted a practice where we have a roster of all of our pre-professional teacher status. It's not rocket science. It's a simple spreadsheet. And it's got the rows with the people who are in their 1st year, the rows of the people in their second year and the rows of the people in their third year. And the admin team now sits, and every couple months, all together, we look at all the pre-PTS people and we talk about how they're doing and what they need, what supports they have, and what we're thinking about them, so that there are no surprises. Right? We pay the most attention to the people in the third year because at the end of this year, that matters. That matters. So that's the kind of seemingly simple but smart administrative practice that if we institute these in all kinds of areas, we will be an even more well-oiled machine, right? And we'll be careful, we're thinking and collaborative. And so the principals aren't out there by themselves thinking about the pre-PTS teachers. So seems, it feels like that's a nitty-gritty example of the kinds of things we can do as administrators that help our educators, which means we help our kids. So anyway, that's some of the evidence I'm sharing.
If I could just speak quickly to the hiring searches. I'd like to thank all the community members, all the staff members, students, everyone. That's a big part of all that, and it has been, we've done a really good job with that. It's really become one of our assets.
Thank you. Yeah, people put in so much time on those,
Yeah,
and we've gotten such good
as they
feedback
should,
about our
but they're
kids.
willing to do that, and that's shows who we are.
Go ahead, Alan.
So my comment would be hindsight is 20/20, and I really appreciate the fact of your honesty in terms of here's what you were hoping and here's what happened. And I'm really glad that you spent your time on what happened because that was really important work to do. I think you did address a lot of the things along the way, even though they weren't your goals. Had you known that, you would have redone your goals
I would have just said,
right away.
let me start in the summer.
Yeah.
I'll give you
Yeah.
great goals, but we got to get through the year and then I'll.
Yeah. Had you known that, you would have itemized different goals and said, I think this is what I need to focus on. And then you would have just said, look what we did. So I think you did a really good job given what you inherited.
Thanks. I don't believe there's any vote needed.
Oh, okay.
No, no.
Yeah, I was just going to
This
ask
is an
that.
interim report on progress.
Yeah, it's just a review
Progress.
of the goals. Yep.
And
That
I am
box, we
always
did it.
happy, I know sometimes people feel more confident giving feedback in a private setting. And so if there are any school committee members who want to share some feedback one-on-one with me, please give a call and we'll have a conversation, and I want to hear what you have to say.
And I would just like to echo what Alan said. I feel like you've focused on the things that have been a priority. You never know what's going to happen. If we could all predict what would happen in the next 6 months, we'd all be doing, very different things, I think. But the ability to kind of pivot, and as the priorities shift and change, I feel like you've shifted and changed with it, and we've appreciated that. So.
And I'd like to say I appreciate the honesty also. It is very difficult to have several people around the room doing an evaluation on you in public. But you have always showed your honesty in wanting to share things with us, things that you didn't accomplish, things that you did accomplish. And I think we have a cohesive school committee team right now who respect and value each other's opinions, even though we don't always agree on the same thing. It's okay. And as long as we're very respectful of each other, I think going forward, it may be scary with only, 7 or 8, whatever. But I feel like we can do it, and I want to thank both you and Jordan for the leadership this past year. It has been very welcoming.
Thank you.
I'm in my 9th year on the school committee, and this is this has been the most pleasurable year of the 9, I would say. And I wouldn't characterize our struggles as just the last 3 years. We were around for 8 years ago. I mean, it's a tough road ahead. I respect your interest to cling tight to Pioneer and try to have it survive, kind of along the lines of Warwick, reopening its elementary school. Feels like it came to the six-town planning process late and reluctantly, but I'm glad to see you there now. And I kind of understand the sentiment. And I see an opportunity for Pioneer at arriving at a sweet spot. I mean, Warwick left, and it put Northfield's numbers at about as well optimized as possible. The problem we have with education is, we get to the need to add another teacher. It's $100,000 to the budget. And so I really haven't been a fan of regionalization, bigger regions, although it does have an argument. So it's going to be interesting to be on the periphery, but still with a toe in the water here.
And one thing you might want to consider doing is go back and revisit your policies on voting and parliamentary procedure, and just take a look at that again, because you might need to revise some of that and be very clear what you need for different votes and so forth, because right now it'll be in conflict a little bit with the regional agreement. And then it also may be some conflicts of how you take votes during meetings. That's all. That's just
Yeah, no, thank you.
food for thought.
I'm writing. Thanks, good thinking. So great.
And just real quick, I've been part of, every year I've been here for the past 4 years, we do the superintendent evaluation. It's one of the most important things that we do. This is the easiest process that I've ever had to, for the whole time that I've been here. In large part because we're all working together as a team, and we understand that there are difficulties, that there are challenges, and we adapt to them. And I think that's been a credit to both the administration and to the school committee.
Great, thank you all. So our next item is an executive session.
I had a question.
Yes.
If you anticipate we're going to come out and take some action as a result of the executive session, that would make sense to probably have it in the middle of the agenda.
Yeah.
You are?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Because I didn't know if there was other things we should do, and then, but it sounds like there is, so
Yeah,
thank
the
you.
information, in the executive session will impact a vote that we have later on in the agenda.
And just before we go, at some point I would like to talk about, there were other issues at the Curriculum and Personnel Committee.
Yeah,
So I don't know if now's the time or afterward.
we'll address that under other business.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Great. All right, would someone like to make a motion?
So moved. Oh, go ahead. You got to read it first.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
No, but you're going to. Aren't you going to make a motion to go into executive session?
If you want me to. Or you can do it. Okay. I move to go into executive session under Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Number 1A and Number 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with PVREA and PVASP, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body and the chair so declares. We will return to open session.
Second.
All right, you want to start the voting?
Can you so declare?
I do declare.
All right, I vote yes. David Young.
Melissa Gary, yes.
Michelle Drew, so yes.
Karen O'Neill, yes.
Gretchen Kelton, yes.
Nathan Swartz, yes.
Alan Genovese, yes.